In today's video I want to share some findings I have with the Sony A7 batteries NP-FW50. The mirrorless camera systems have one common problem. Most of them draw power like it's no tomorrow. So you have these batteries and you can have tons of them because the cameras basically eat batteries alive. The Sony A7 is no exception. It runs off these NP-FW50 batteries, and those batteries are tiny, which is great, but they also don't last very long. So I have 6 of these batteries by now, and I actually thought about getting a couple more for a trip we are doing in the near future. In the process of thinking about buying a couple new of these batteries, I thought I should maybe first check which ones are actually the best. Is the Sony A7 original battery the best? Is this kind of aftermarket the best? Or is this one the best, which is from Patona? So to make this test, I set up the camera, a Sony A7 II, with an external monitor so I could actually see if it's still on. I have the Zeiss Batis 25mm on it, and I left all the other settings the same. So I think it was Aperture priority mode, automatic ISO, and automatic shutter speed. I recorded at 24 frames per second, and I just hit record to kind of know how long the camera would actually record. One of the struggles with the Sony A7 II, and I think the whole Sony A7 line, is that it does not record more than 30 minutes. That is some legal kind of thing. But a couple months ago I actually found a hack online where you can install a tweak application on the Sony, and then you can get rid of this limit of 30-minute recording. So I was actually able to just hit record, leave it there until the battery is empty, then it would store the file, and then I could just play back the file and see how long it actually is, to see how long it was recording, and then I know how long the battery actually lasted. The other thing I did was I was sitting in front of the camera was on continuous autofocus with face detection, so I was just sitting there, not doing really a lot. I just sat on my laptop and worked, but the camera actually had something to do while it was recording. So maybe the autofocus system also draws some power, but that is just a more real-life experience. The next interesting thing is the technical details of the batteries themselves, and the milliamp hour is the most interesting there. And the Sony original has 1020 milliamp hours. The third-party brand, which I don't know which brand it actually is because there's nothing written on the battery, is 1200 milliamp hours, and the Patona is actually 950 milliamp hours. But the most interesting thing is how long did the batteries actually last inside the camera while recording. And the Sony battery itself, the original battery that came with the camera, only lasted for 1 hour and 17 minutes, which is the shortest of the 3. The third-party battery, where there's no marking or branding on it, took 1 hour and 40 minutes to kind of be empty. And the Patona is actually the battery with the least milliamp hours, but it took the longest to actually be empty and stop recording, and that was 1 hour and 48 minutes. So my decision essentially was made really easy. I just bought a couple more of these batteries in a set with a charger. And these chargers are amazing because they are super small, they are really flat, and they take 2 of these batteries, and they have a micro USB port, and I can charge this either with a wall charger, or if I have my Anker, for example, the 25,000 milliamp hour brick, to kind of charge my phone and other USB devices. I can also charge these batteries with this Anker brick, for example, when I'm hiking or something. One alteration I made here is I taped the bright lights here, because while charging you see some lights, and most often I'm charging the batteries at night when I actually want to sleep, so I just taped something over this. Overall, the charger definitely a recommendation. To be able to charge 2 batteries and still be using the camera at the same time is really nice, and the Patona batteries are really the best I have found in my test, at least. Now the test is probably not really scientific, and there were probably some variables that changed in the testing, but I just bought a couple more of these, and I will link to them in the description below as well. Overall, it's really a nice thing that we are still able to kind of buy these third-party batteries, because the original Sony batteries are, I think, 30-40 euros per piece. But the Patona, 2 batteries and the charger were only 29 euros. And comparing this with the normal Sony A7 battery is just 2 batteries for the price of 1 essentially, and also a charger. And I was really happy that I did this kind of test beforehand, because I already had a couple batteries in my kind of shopping cart, and I thought that maybe more expensive is better. There were a couple sets that are 40 or 50 euros for 2 batteries, but then I found out that the Patona actually are the best, at least for my experience as far as I can tell. So I can definitely recommend the Patona charger and the Patona batteries, and I have links to them in the description below, or I have a link to the set in the description below. Now I'm happy with the new dual charger and batteries, and I hope this was helpful for you. Please let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions. Subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Dislike if you disliked it and it was not helpful, but like it if you liked it and it was helpful. And I will see you in the next video. I hope you have an amazing day, and until then, bye.